What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael Perryman, and today we're talking about why the Sony 24-50 has become my favorite everyday carry. Alright, so there's many reasons why the Sony is now easily one of my favorite lenses to carry with me every single day, especially when I don't know what I'm going to do. I just want to bring something. And the first one is obvious, and it's going to be the size and the weight. Now, previous to this, I actually owned the Sony 24-70 GM2. That's right, one of the top of the line lenses that Sony creates, and that was a dream lens. I saved up, and it was a dream of mine to actually one day own that lens. And then I owned it. When I owned it, if I wasn't getting paid for a job, I absolutely dreaded carrying that lens. If I was going out for an everyday shoot, I wouldn't bring it. Not only because of the physical size, because it is pretty girthy, but also because of the cost. I was thinking, do I really want to bring out a $2,000 lens and not know what I'm going to shoot and quite possibly just waste my time or even run the risk of breaking such an expensive lens? So after struggling with that sort of mindset, I thought, do I really need to own this lens? With the way the game is been going, I've been getting a lot less gigs, and I've been shooting a lot more passion projects, just a lot more things that just make me happy, as opposed to letting other people see my big beautiful gear and thinking, man, that guy's a professional. So I thought, I want something a lot smaller than this, but fills the focal lengths that I know that I like to use. And what are those focal lengths? I went back through a ton of my content. It was easy and obvious to see that 24mm through about 50mm was the most common focal lengths that I would always use, especially when it comes to video. I was almost always going to 24 when it came to video, and when it came to photography, I was almost always in between that 35 to 50mm range. So I wanted to grab me a lens that not only could hit that sweet spot of 24-50, that could also fulfill my need of being a lot smaller than the 24-70. I mean, just take a look at this lens. Not only is this lens a lot smaller and of course lighter than a 24-70, but it comes with all of the features. When you think about it, I mean, you still have an aperture ring on this lens. You can still make the aperture clickable or declickable. On the other side, you have an autofocus manual focus toggle. We even have a dedicated custom button right here, and I really love that custom button. It could either allow me to hold focus, or I could customize it and change it to whatever it is that I want that button to be. And last but not least, if you want to put this lens on a gimbal, it is very easy, very lightweight. You have to do very minor adjustments if you want to get it for 24-50, and it checks all the boxes for me. All right, and then outside of the fact that it's very small and lightweight, there's the image quality. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, it's probably just a tad bit less quality than the 24-70. I'll be honest about that. I owned that 24-70, and I was always super impressed with the images that I got out of it. But when I take a look at some of the photos and or the video that I get out of this 24-50, sometimes I just question, is that 24-70 actually $1,000 better than this 24-50? Obviously, you have the slightly better quality in image. Also, you have the extra 20mm of focal length, which does come in handy, I won't lie. But when it comes to saving $1,000, having a rig that's a lot smaller and lighter, and something that I'm just willing to bring with me every day, it was actually a no-brainer, and I have zero regrets for selling that 24-70 and leaving with this 24-50. And then, even though I talked about the extra 20mm when it comes to the 24-70, the focal length for me is extremely versatile. When it comes to me shooting video, the widest I generally tend to go would be 24mm, and of course I have that. And also when it comes to shooting photography, when I really want to get in and get something portrait-like, 50 is usually as much as I need to go. But I do use a Sony a7 IV. That means if I put that thing in crop mode, this will easily change from a 36mm to a 75mm, allowing me to get in and get that 75mm with high quality 4K video. And of course, if you're using a Sony a7 IV, the photography will go down to maybe 12 megapixels or so. But if you're putting your pictures on the internet, we all know not one of these people out there can tell the difference. So 24-50, even though it's not 24-70, it's extremely versatile. Number 4 is going to be its autofocus capability. Now, when it comes to a lens that you know you're going to be vlogging with, you want to be able to put that lens down and know no matter what, no matter how, it's catching my eyes and I can be extremely confident that it's got me in focus. It provides very fast autofocus, it's extremely quiet, it's a Sony native lens, so even breathing compensation can help you out there as well. So when it comes to autofocus, when it comes to just being confident, when it comes to bringing that everyday carry lens, you just want to know it's lightweight, it's got great image quality. You want to know that you've got a versatile focal length, but you also want to make sure that the autofocus has you no matter what the scenario. And last but not least, it's got good bokeh, it's got good light capability. What I mean by that is it's a 2.8. Now obviously I know a lot of zooms you're going to get are 2.8s, but Sony, you know these cameras, they can pretty much see in the dark. I can use this lens in low light situations and just feel extremely confident because of the 2.8 aperture. It's got an 11 blade aperture, produces beautiful bokeh, especially when it comes to shooting photos. But if you know how to use your focal lengths as well, you can get up close in video and get some pleasing bokeh there as well. Alright, so what are the cons of the Sony 24-50? My biggest gripe, and quite possibly maybe my only gripe, is the zoom ring. When this thing zooms out, it's actually going to 24, and when you zoom it back in, it's actually going to 50, which is the exact opposite of every other lens that I own, obviously. When you're using that 24-70, if you see this lens protruded out like this, you know that you're on the long end. You know you're on the 70, but in this one, sometimes I always catch myself making a mistake. Make sure and it's zoomed out and I go sit down and wonder why it's a little bit too punched in, and that's because when it's down, when you don't see it protruding, it is actually at its furthest focal length of 50. That does indeed drive me crazy sometimes, but to save $1,000, to have it a lot smaller and a lot lighter weight, that is the least of my concerns, and I've gotten over it a while ago. So in the end, if you own a Sony system, whether it's a full frame or whether it's an APS-C, this Sony 24-50 is one of my favorite lenses to pick up every day, pick up and vlog, go out and take photos of my family, or just know if I can only bring one, this will be my everyday carry. My name is Michael Perryman, and like I always say, don't wait, create.